detail, but it's so cool to see that amount of planning put in by the developers. And that's it for this list. I tried really hard to find as many Easter eggs as I could, but there weren't too many in this game, to be honest. Carlos joins the ranks of Resident Evil characters that we saw once, and they never came back. Except for the fact that he actually did come back in the Resident Evil 3 remake. So what's going on under all that crazy mercenary hair? Today we're going to find out in yet another facts video. From pushing bells to plastic surgery, here are 25 facts about Carlos Oliveira. Carlos was named after Canadian MMA fighter Carlos Newton by Mercenaries designer Yasuhisa Kawamura, as he was a big fan of the sport. Carlos was actually pretty young during the events of the third game, being only 21 years old and making him 2 years younger than Jill. Carlos was a child soldier, being a member of a communist guerrilla organization in South America. In the Hong Kong comics, Carlos and Leon meet up and team up in order to save Sherry. While these comics aren't canon, Yasuhisa Kawamura, who wrote the story for Resident Evil 3, said that he loved them and complimented the author's work. While Carlos has appeared in 4 Resident Evil games, every single one of them is some sort of retelling of Resident Evil 3. These include the original Resident Evil 3, Umbrella Chronicles, Operation Raccoon City, and Resident Evil 3 Remake. Carlos' country of origin has never been confirmed, with Kazuhiro Aoyama, the director of Resident Evil 3, stating in an interview that he actually can't remember what his country of origin is or if they even decided on one. The most agreed upon nationality for Carlos is Portuguese, due to him having a Portuguese last name, but there is a scene in Umbrella Chronicles where he calls Jill Chica, which is typically used in Spanish.
This happened in the first place.
Hey, easy, Chica. I'm just a hired gun.
And there's also the fact that the game manual says that he carries some Indian blood, so it's still very much up for debate. In the games, his last name is spelled as Oliveira, but in the films, it's spelled as Oliveira, and there's never an explanation given for this. Oded Fair, who played Carlos in the films, actually hates guns in real life and did not enjoy doing a lot of the action scenes. Also, random piece of trivia, he played the Gigolo in Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. Canonically, Carlos has never met any other main characters in the series besides Jill and Nikolai. Anyone else that he met died during the events of Raccoon City, leaving him isolated from the rest of the storyline. In the news office, if the player chooses to jump out the window, you will see a scene with Carlos having to kill Murphy in the sales office, being visibly upset at having to kill his friend.
I don't want to shoot you. Kill me! I finished. Not human. Wait, we don't have to do this. Please hurry. Before I lose conscious. Before too late. Kill me! Yeah! Murphy. Why? No.
When you have to make the choice in the cable car, the game splits up Jill and Carlos. If you jump out the window, Carlos screams no and stays in the cable car as it crashes.
It's useless.
No!
But if you use the brakes, you'll hear a window break as Carlos jumps out of the car instead.
This must be it.
There was apparently a deleted dialogue between Murphy and Carlos where he explains the water puzzle, explaining that he was infected by drinking contaminated water. From what I read, this was cut so late in development that it was even recorded by the voice actors, but I could not find any concrete proof of this, so take it with a grain of salt. Carlos' original voice actor, Vince Corazza, is still voice acting today and has been in a ton of franchises in gaming and other media, and is also the English voice of Tuxedo Mask in Sailor Moon. The bell that Carlos has to push to clear the way is actually extremely heavy. I looked up the weight of church bells in real life, and considering the bell's diameter, it would weigh somewhere between 600 and 900 pounds. According to his face model, Carlos' redesign was to reflect a more realistic portrayal of his hardened mercenary background. Even though it never appears in the game, Carlos is seen briefly using the classic 4-barrel M66 rocket launcher. Carlos is one of the playable characters in Operation Mad Jackal, or as it's more commonly known, the Mercenaries. Mikhail is considered the easiest, and Nikolai is considered the hardest, where Carlos is somewhere in the middle. In the clock tower section, if Jill jumps out the window, Carlos will give her freeze rounds, but he won't help her during the Nemesis fight. If Jill used the emergency brakes, Carlos won't give her any ammo, but he will take out Nemesis' rocket launcher just before the fight starts. In the RPD, Carlos has a lot of quips if you examine the environment, including observations about the decor.
Now here's a weird fucking door.
Leave it. We're here for guard.
And sympathy for Leon.
Somebody didn't have time to put his blues on.
Carlos is the first and only Resident Evil character to get an alternate hairstyle instead of a full alternate costume. While he never officially got an alternate costume, in one of his cars for Biohazard Clanmaster, he is shown wearing what appears to be a Native American-inspired outfit. Carlos was rescued by Umbrella after government forces wiped out his faction and sentenced him to be executed. Just before he was to be killed, a scout for Umbrella offered him a contract to work for Umbrella's private military unit in exchange for a new life. Carlos has had plastic surgery to alter his face. According to his backstory,
Three more days.
then I can kiss this town goodbye. What's going on out there?